Welcome back to the Hardworking Man Podcast. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Heath, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what we just got back from, and that's get-togethers and events. We were at the Fellowship at the Furnace put on by Brad at Firewood at the Furnace. That's his YouTube channel, and it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot, which is what's important about these events.
Yes, we drove down to Maryland. We weren't quite sure if we were going to make it or not until the morning of, which is kind of how we roll. Heath had gotten sick earlier in the week, and I mean, let's be real, I didn't have any hotel booked. I had nothing booked. So even if he hadn't been sick, I don't know that we would have
Our plans changed.
Yet.
Like when he announced the event, we were like, yes, we want to go. They're a lot of fun. You learn a lot. You meet a lot of great people. We were like, I don't want to drive 9 hours. We had driven to New York earlier in the year. We had driven to Ohio. We'd driven to these things, and it just rained the whole way. The drive was miserable. So we were like, you know what, let's go. Let's just fly. It was just Rachel and I. The boys didn't come. They had school, wrestling, and everything. So we were going to fly. And then we got to thinking, like, man, we can't bring hardly anything if we fly. So we never booked our tickets. Down to the last minute when I got sick, was getting better, got better, and my son's wrestling tournament was right next to the airport. We're like, you know what? We don't need to bring as much stuff. Let's just fly. Boom. Ticket prices had more than tripled. So there that goes.
That went out the window. So we're like, I guess we're driving. So that morning, I guess the day before the event, the morning that we drove down, I booked a hotel room.
And we went to my son's wrestling, dropped him off, stayed to watch his first event, his first match.
Yep.
We thought, it'll be about an hour delay. No, it started almost an hour late, and then he had the slowest mat at the entire tournament, and his weight class was drawn to go last. So it was almost 3 hours instead of what should have been an hour. So we got a late start, but I have to be honest, it was an awesome drive.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad drive at all. It was... we had toll roads, which some people want to avoid those at all costs, but we didn't have to go through any major busy cities at all. It did not rain. There weren't any traffic backups. It was a nice ride.
It was a nice, pleasant drive.
It wasn't bad at all.
Talked, chatted, and listened to some music. And
we got down there about 8:30 at night on Saturday, and then we went. This is the part that's the most fun at these events. We just went down into the hotel lobby, whoever was staying at the hotel, we had just happened to run into them getting back from dinner, and they're like, oh, you're going to sit and hang out? And we're like, yeah. So they came down. We got to hang out with Jake and Chris from Dude Ranch DIY, and we got to meet Elliot from Everything Elliot, which we hadn't met him yet, so that was fun.
Jay was there.
Jay from Premier Iowa
Tree Surgeon.
Yep.
And, just talking about whether it's going to an event or going out for the night with friends, whatever it is. I know we're not the only ones because, when the idea comes up or someone asks you and you're like, yeah, I want to go. But when it's that second to go out the door with friends or to go to an event and you got so much going on, you're so busy and you're like, man, I don't know if we should go. Getting there, just do it. Just get there and have fun. Every time we do this, whether it be going out, going to something, we're like, man, should we go? We've got so much to do. We've got this, we've got that. Once you get there, you have a blast. We had a lot of fun. And like I said, met a lot of great people. And we're going to talk a little bit about these events. You don't have to have a YouTube channel. This doesn't have to pertain to YouTube at all. But just going out, hanging out with friends, getting to know people. Not only is it fun, but you can learn stuff, whether it be about life, about other people, about what you're doing. If it's an event like this where it's a, I guess, sort of themed event. Firewood, it was a firewood get-together. So
yes.
Not only did we learn how people do stuff in their operations, but we learned a lot about YouTube, having channels, talking to other creators. So.
Well, and it's just fun. I got to meet, there was a couple of guys there whose parents made the trip over, and so I got to meet 2 sets of parents, and I like parents. They're fun.
And we'd heard some people, they're like, I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm not big in the wood industry. I don't know if I should go. Just go. This community, it doesn't matter.
No.
Everyone hangs out with everyone. Everyone talks with everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a big channel, a small channel, don't have a channel. Just the guy down the street. Just come hang out, get to know people, talk. eat some food, and have a good time. That's what we did.
That's what we did. I didn't run any machines. I didn't do any work other than have people sign a waiver form. That was my work.
You did work. You're always doing work. But
dealing with him's work.
Trying to keep me focused and found.
No, so I'm like, you don't have to go. Like, there was some people that are like, oh, well, I don't want to work. It's a working event. I don't want to go and have to work. Well, I didn't go and, like, do a lot of work. And I still had fun. So
right. Yeah, like she said, it's not there to show off how much you can work or how much wood you can split, Don Scheib. Like, it's just a get-together for people to hang out. And like I said, get to know each other, talk, chat, interact, and just have a good time. So it was a lot of fun. Andrew was there from Easton Made Wood Splitters. That dude's a riot. Like,
I love his family.
Stacy, his
and the
wife,
boys.
and the boys.
I love them.
They're just a lot of fun to be around.
I mean, it made me feel so good. We went out for dinner after the whole thing on Sunday night, and we walk up, and their littlest boy, Gus, who's almost 3, he runs up to me and, like, wraps his arms around me and gives me a hug, and I'm like, oh.
He wouldn't sit by me.
I was like, this is worth it. This is so cute. Like, so it's just fun to get to, these are people that we've never would meet any other time other than the fact that we have a YouTube channel and we happen to be a social YouTube channel. Because there's a lot of people who don't go to any of these things. They don't interact, and you're missing out because
you're missing out on the best part of having a channel.
The community is the best part. Like, it's just fun just to talk to people. I had a lot of guys come up and talk to me about the splitters and, like, what do you like, what do you don't, because it's just a different perspective. And, it's just fun when people are like, thank you for having a channel. I've learned so much because, this guy loves to try to teach and share some knowledge that he's gained to other people. So it's just rewarding.
Like Rachel said, we're an interactive channel. We go back and forth with people in the comments, and you sort of get to know people that way. But then when you go to these events and you meet them in person, you can put a name to the face. And I might have to meet you 2 or 3 times to remember who you are because I'm terrible at that. Rachel probably see you once or know you from your picture on Facebook and be like, oh, that's this person or that's that person. I am terrible at that. But, like, we get to meet people that are just people who watch the show and comment back and forth. Richard Titcomb was there. Chris Foltz was there. A bunch of people. Working man Ron Doyle, who he started his channel just after we did, luckily. Because when he went to start his YouTube channel, he was going to use the name Hardworking Man. And he searched it, and he found us. And he was like, dang it, they beat me to my name. So you guys were only probably a few days away from not having Heath and Rachel be Hardworking Man because Ron Doyle almost took our name. So you just get to find out things like this and learn stuff like this.
Joe Gilbert, he was our bus driver.
Yeah, Joe Gilbert drove the buses. He's worked with Brad on his channel some. Like, just so many good people out there, and getting to put a name to the face and just chat with people who you sort of feel like you know already, you get to know even more.
Which I had, when I met a couple different people, like Joe, I had never seen Joe. I wouldn't recognize him off the street because I don't watch videos with Joe in them. So he recognizes us because he watched our videos. But I'm like, do you comment on the channel? And he's like, oh, not always. And I'm like, comment, because I remember
Rachel
people
loves the
who
comments.
comment. Like, I know people's names, and we talk all the time. We'd be like, oh, did you see what so-and-so wrote? Oh, yeah. Like, you're old friends. Like, we know you. So if you don't comment on people's YouTube channels, I encourage you to just, it doesn't matter. You don't have to leave a whole story. Like, I always hear, well, I don't know what I would say. Just say, good video, guys. That's it. Like, you don't have to say a whole lot, but just, we like to know you're watching. And I like to get to know your name. And if you're there all the time, then I meet you in person, I'll be like, oh, it's you. Because I really do remember people's names from the comments.
Right. Now, another really cool thing about these events that are like YouTube or content creator events is talking to other content creators. We learned a ton at this, whether it be from, like marketing standpoint or reaching out to companies. We haven't really reached out to many companies here on Hardworking Man. We've had a lot of companies reach out to us, and some of them have been great companies and we've got to work with, and we love it. But, you know, you talk to other people and they're like, oh, well, I reach out like this, or I find companies that I'm interested in this and I reach out to them.
Just gaining strategies from other people on working the business side of the YouTube channel.
Right. And it's not like a competition, you know. People are like, oh, you should contact these people because they have this item that would really fit your channel well.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like, you know, I didn't get one, or I did get one. And you're not like, it's not a competition. It's just a big community of people helping everyone. And that's a lot what this event was all about. And the great thing about these events is it's not the event or where it's at or what the weather is that makes it. It's the people, because the weather was terrible.
Weather was terrible.
It was not real cold, but it was muddy. It's been raining. We talk about this way too much, but it is what it is. But you know what? Everyone that was at this event had a good time. There weren't as many people as there should have been or could have been or would have been, because a lot of people didn't make it due to the weather or other circumstances. But everyone who made it was like, man, I'm so glad I came. I'm so glad I made the trip. I'm so glad I was here. Even though it was rainy and misty and muddy, and everyone was like, you know what? It didn't really even bother me because you were so busy doing stuff, chatting with people, getting to know people, that the weather didn't really put a damper on things, I guess you could say.
No, I was very thankful that there were tents, though. So
the tents were great. Without the tents, it might have been a different story.
So I was helping Patty get people to sign waivers just for liability purposes while running machines, etc. But the fun thing is, if you signed the waiver, then you were entered in for a chance to win a Van Dusen splitting mall. And so there's a benefit to signing the waiver. So I stayed under the tent for the most part doing that, and then I did venture out and I got drenched.
Ventured out into the wild.
I was like, I'll go check it out while you're like, you know, hoping my boots are tall enough for the sludgy mud. I was like, what are we, mud wrestling later? Like, this is nuts.
There were tons of mud wrestling jokes throughout the day.
But yeah, it was, I mean, it wasn't like pouring. You didn't feel like you needed an umbrella, but like my hair got pretty wet and I just did a little loop and came back.
Yeah, talking about the Van Dusen splitting mall, I didn't win that, but I did win a Van Dusen axe, which if you don't know who that is, it's Tim Van Dusen. He has a YouTube channel, Tim and Old Saws, all one word, and he restores axes and he does other stuff with chainsaws and whatnot, but they're a collectible item and I was able to win one. I tried to win a steel 500i and I missed by 2 numbers. I was number 11 and number 9 was drawn for that, so there were raffles, there were giveaways, there was food, there was just everything.
Yeah, it was a good event. So good job, Brad. I think we all enjoyed it, and it was worth the drive.
And it was just great, like we said, catching up with people. Yeah. John from Frickin' Jeep. I love that guy. Like, he's always talking. He's got a crazy amount of knowledge, and he's not shy to share it with you. So he'll let you know if he thinks he has a better way, and he'll tell you that it's better.
Fastest splitter on YouTube,
sometimes his ways are better, and sometimes they're not. But we love John, and just everyone in the community. A lot of fun out there.
Yes, and thankfully you got better. When you have somebody who's sick and can't even talk for 3 days, you kind of can't record a podcast.
Yeah, and we're not great at getting ahead. We've talked about that before. One day we're going to get ahead on videos, on podcasts, on all this stuff.
Yeah, you know when that will be? When you're retired and don't have a job. Like, I don't know why you think we are such a pressure to get ahead. Like,
because I want to have a log in case somebody gets sick or the weather's so bad you can't get outside.
I don't see that happening because of the fact that there are other... I mean, if we didn't have any kids in sports, we had to be running them around to or have any other jobs.
It's good to have goals, Rachel. It's good to have goals.
I just feel like it'd be like me. Okay, to me, that feels like if I was like, if only I could get ahead on this laundry and get the laundry all cut up. Is that ever going to... Same. That's what I'm saying. It just is not in the cards for us to have laundry be caught up because every day as we're walking around, you change your clothes twice. Nate and Zach have 2 sets of clothes they wear every day for practice and regular. Like, there's 3 loads of laundry on our bodies and dealing with every single day. So
we're going to get ahead one day.
We'll never get ahead. And it's unrealistic expectation. Just stop. Because now you always feel like you're failing. And you're not. We're doing fine.
I'm not failing.
You're
I just
not.
Could do better.
You think we
Always trying to improve. That's been my life. Always trying to get better, be better, improve.
You can improve. And you just gotta
let's make a goal. Let's get 1 podcast ahead. Can we shoot for that?
We did that before, and then you sat.
And then we sit back because we're procrastinators.
You're like, sweet, we're ahead, and then we don't make any other ones.
Let's relax.
No. Like, I mean, just...
Let's get and stay one podcast ahead. How about that?
We're very lucky that we can do this in our home and not have to, like, schedule it at a podcast studio, because we would be tortured if we were like, we have to go record on Tuesday at 3, because we would schedule it for a terrible time. Something else would come up. Like, I feel like
sometimes you're just not feeling it.
It's always ever changing. I feel our schedule. It'll be like randomly, oh, my, you know, for kids especially, their practices, sports. Like, Zach was supposed to have a wrestling meet on Tuesday.
Canceled.
It decided to snow Tuesday during the day, and they canceled all afternoon events. So then now he needs to get picked up at a totally different time. So if we were set to record at that time, now you can't. So just give yourself a little grace. It's okay. We're doing fine.
But anyway, I guess we're about out of time. And we just wanted to talk about going to events, whatever they are. Get to know people. Talk to people. Don't be shy. Don't be that guy back in the corner that thinks, you know, no one cares what I have to say. Just get out there and talk to people, because that's how you get to know people. That's how you learn in life, is conversing with other people, getting to know people, and there's so much out there to learn for all of us.
Well, and people love talking about themselves, so if all you got to do is ask a question, and you're going to get an earful, so don't feel like you don't have anything to talk about. So it was really nice to see people from, you know, some content creators and a lot of not content creators that were there. And, you know, that was the whole point, and it was fun. But you're right. I don't like hearing, oh, I'm nobody. I'm just, you know, I don't have a channel. It's like, well, so what? I'm just a girl too. Like, what does it matter if we're on a YouTube? Like, people think that's weird, but...
To us, it's no different than just going out and not having a channel and talking to people.
And they were all there, like, to see these machines in person. And that's kind of why Brad did this, was because... unless you make it to one of the huge trade shows, it's very hard to go see any of these machines in person unless someone near you owns one and you can see them run. Like, you're not going to see them run in person.
Like, how well built something is. Like, the Easton Maids, they're heavily built. The Allwoods are heavily built. Like, you don't see this stuff unless you're there in person, because you can't see it on a video. You can't appreciate it until you see it, put hands on it, and that's what this was. Brad did a great job. The weather didn't cooperate, but we made it happen, and everything went great. Brad was a nervous wreck. I know he was, but in the end, he was like, man,
out of his control.
I'm just so glad that everyone came together and made it happen, and we did. You know,
I know, it makes me want to have one. I'm not at our house because I don't want to clean the house for everyone. But
maybe one day. One day we'll have a hardworking man get together.
We'll have a hardworking man get. But you know, I would like it to be like in the summer, and we could have like a bonfire and just hang out afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Because we do that at Bunyan a little bit, but it kind of gets cold. Where, you know, I want nice bonfire weather. I think that would be more fun.
Maybe we could hook up with another channel and do a collab, like a get together, hardworking man and whoever. So if you think that's a good idea, if it's something you might want to hook up with us and do, let us know.
I know. And, I feel like no one would come to Michigan, though, because we're just...
There's a lot of people in Michigan.
We're not on the way to anything, you know. There's a lot of people...
We're on the way to Canada.
We are on the way to Canada. There's a lot of people that live, like, near each other down in the Maryland, Pennsylvania area, I think. And so they're all close, and it's a lot easier to travel where this is a destination.
Well, hey guys, like always, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Drop a comment down below, and don't miss the next Hardworking Man podcast or YouTube video.
That's right. So have a good week.
Bye.